one of the first things you see in Blade, Stephen Norrington's 1998 adaptation of the Marvel Comics character of the same name is a nightclub where it rains blood. And I gotta say, that is one of the coolest opening scenes I've ever seen in a movie. You know, that's just one of the things that I can't imagine that this new version of the movie is going to top. It's been 25 years, and the vampire rave sequence, Rain of Blood and all, remains one of the most captivating in a comic movie landscape that has now grown to encompass numerous billion-dollar movies, two-part epics, and entire universes that promise bigger and bigger storytelling with each new chapter. But it's not just the flashy visual that compels us to keep going back. Over the last quarter century, the comic book movie world has shifted dramatically, and Blade stands tall even as Marvel Studios seeks to reboot the character with a new actor and a new story that will fit right into the company's shared universe.
I don't know if the new Marvel Studios version is ever going to live up to the original. And yeah, I mean, that opening sequence is probably the most memorable of any comic book movie that I can think of. And I don't think that they're going to be able to top that, but maybe they'll, try to give it homage or something like that.
So what about it keeps us coming back? Why does Blade still stand as one of the most entertaining films of its kind after 25 years and dozens of movies that have sought to follow it into superhero cinema glory? From the beginning, it's clear that Blade is walking a fine line, much like the title character's daywalker nature as a human/vampire hybrid. There are, of course, elements of the Marvel Comics source material scattered throughout the film, and it's very clear that we're dealing with a comic book world, a heightened reality where weapons, monsters, and heroes behave in ways that more grounded films might not allow. But while the comic bookness of Blade is never in doubt, the film also took plenty of liberties. Wesley Snipes' title character looks and acts very differently from his comics counterpart, a character who didn't have a daywalker biology in his original incarnation. A lot of this is just to add a certain cinematic value for the late 1990s, giving Blade sunglasses and trench coat to match the vibe of action cinema at the time. His more vampiric abilities are also a key part of the effort to up the cinematic thrills, delivering a hero who can be as fast and strong and as monstrous as the villains he's chasing. So speaking of monstrous, there's the film's R rating, something certain comic book movie fans have come to champion in recent years as a kind of secret key to unlocking certain characters on the big screen. Blade luxuriates in its ability to curse, to dismember, to bleed at will, to be sure, but it's not just that. The film is eager to dump buckets of gore on its audience. The R rating is instead in service of a larger tonal balance, one struck through the action, the cinematography, and of course through Snipes' core performance. His skill, his swagger, and his sheer devotion to disappearing behind the wardrobe means that Blade emerges as a standalone character. But we also never forget we're watching a bona fide action star at work. The R rating unleashes Snipes' performance, but it's not just the extremity of the content that makes him feel so vibrant, so fun to watch. It's the way the character works as a part of a larger whole. I love this article.
Yeah.
It's really good. I totally agree with this article, but I'm going to go a step further. I'm just going to say straight out, I do not want the current iteration of Marvel to touch this film. I know that they've gone through a bunch of, iterations of scripts. They've had different directors. They've had the same star, Mahershala Ali. which I think he's kind of wasting his time with this. I think he should just walk away from it at this point. Do you agree with some of the points in the article?
I do, especially this last point, that it's so special to have a film that stands on its own and is so great without you having to wrap your head around everything else that is happening in the universe and all of the other, related movies and shows. And I don't know if we can, that's not going to happen in a new Blade. So I think I agree. I don't need to see a Marvel Studios MCU version of Blade, especially with all of the weird production stuff that's gone on with it, all the back and forths. I don't see that being as special.
Yeah, and I mean, they're talking about the anniversary of the original Blade, but they're not even considering Blade 2. Blade 2 was a great sequel to this movie. I know they were trying to do a little bit of a build-up, with having Kit Harington, fit in there somehow and doing, Midnight Suns and all that stuff. But I think they should just scrap it, They're going to lose money. They're not going to top the original. They're not going to top the sequel, Blade 2. So just give it up. Just you wasted the money. Just walk away from it and, try to do better with phases 5 and 6.